Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the College Information Series first session. We're excited you're here. This is about the application walkthrough. This is really aimed at seniors and those who might be applying early. And so what we are going to do is we're going to give you the nitty-gritty of what you really need, the parts that may be confusing. And so let's get going. By the way, if you're watching at home, we wish you could be here. It's a lot more fun in person, but you can do what you can do. Okay, now there are a lot of applications. University of California, the Cal State application, and the Common application. You can see those three right here. They're the most common. And we are going to be working on the UC application and the Common application today. Cal State application is going to open in October, which is about 2 weeks away, and it's very similar to the University of California application. So keep an eye on that if you're also going to apply to Cal State, because entering the classes and things is very similar. There is also the coalition application, which from the time that we started these presentations to now has actually switched to SCORE. Our SCORE application is the coalition for college, but we ask that you still use the Common application, even though you have the ability to use the coalition app. And that is because it is easier to deal with letters of recommendation in the Common application. So unless you have run out of space on the Common application, it only allows 20 schools, and I really hope you're not running out of space. Please avoid the coalition application for now. Also, for those students that are interested in HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, there's a fabulous application called the Common Black College application, which allows you to apply for like 60 of them for 20 bucks. And it's easy, simple, and you can end up applying to all of them at the same time. And it's kind of fun. So if you're interested in HBCUs, we got that application up there. These are not all of them. I got students applying to Texas. They've got their own application. Some of the other states have their own application. You'll find that some of the smaller schools that are like local faith-based schools, Biola and similar schools also may have their own application. Music schools, art schools may have their own application. And so it really is as chaotic as it sounds, but we are here to make sure you're okay. That's our job. Okay. We're going to walk through this. We're going to highlight the important aspects of the Common app and the UC app, because I did this once where I walked through the whole thing and it was a 2-hour presentation. So we are just going to do the highlights of the things that may be confusing. You can make an appointment with me anytime. I will walk you through. I will hold your hand. And also the counselors are pretty good at this too. They've been working with the application for a long time. So if you have an appointment coming up, you can also ask them questions. I also help with essays, extracurricular activities, all the stuff. I am all the stuff. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think they're not allowed to come and see me. That's why they hired me. And that's why I work for iLEAD, for you guys. So come and see me and I'll help you. Okay, so we are going to start with the University of California application, and I'm going to be clicking the things while Heather Feccarota does the speaking. Let's see if it's still open on my side. Yes, it's still open. So Heather, you tell me what to do. I'm going to turn off my audio and we will click away.
Perfect. Okay. So like Laura said, I will be narrating while she's navigating. So please bear with us. So when you first create your UC application, this is what it will look like. And so the first thing you're going to do is highlight the About You, and it's going to bring you a pull-down menu. And these are all the areas that you need to type in. So, and you kind of have to go in order. That's the fun part that we have found. So if like you wanted to go to your household, go down to your household, Laura, and see what it tells us. Nope, can't do it yet. You got to go do your background first. So see, there's a lot of things you can't do until you do these things. So, but what I do want to say, as far as this whole section about you, definitely fill it out thoroughly. When you do get to the parent information, it's going to ask income information. I want to make sure that that gets filled out, because that's what's going to trigger whether you qualify for a fee waiver or not. So each of the campuses at the UC charge $80 per application. So it's not just one to UC, right? If you're applying to UCLA, UCI, UC Riverside, that's 3 different applications. That's going to be $240. So the fee waiver will get you up to 6 campuses. I'm sorry, up to 4 campuses. Anything above 4, you will have to pay the $80. And again, that's just based on income that you're going to put in that parent information to see if you qualify for a fee waiver. Okay, so here are all the different campuses that you see that you can choose from. That you can see they're all over the state, which is nice. Hopefully you have an idea. Perfect. Okay, so we talked about you. This is the campuses and majors. You're going to have to click at least one to move on to some of the other items, right? You'll have to select a school. It's funny because it won't let you because you haven't done your citizenship and residency back in the About You. So this is what I'm talking about. You can't do certain things until you do certain other things. So this is why it's important to kind of go in order, start with the About You, and then go down the list. So, but what we can show you is what the academic history portion looks like. And we're going to start out. Okay, perfect. Here's the introduction. This is where you're going to list every high school you have gone to. I repeat, every high school you have gone to. If you have only been with us, then that's the only one you need to worry about. So this is how we're going to add a high school. Where did you attend? Well, we're in California, so let's do that. This one here, please, 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 everyone, you are not a homeschool learner. You are with an independent study. You can either click that box or leave it blank. It's fine. Doesn't matter. But please remember, you are not homeschooled. You are part of a public charter in California. So we're going to type in iLEAD and let's see what happens, Laura. There we go. Which one do I choose? It's tempting. I've taken classes at some of these, but really you are a student at iLEAD Exploration Hybrid. We are looking for that school code that was on there, 054846. That is your school code. Now, I'm going to throw you a little bit of a wrench here. If you took summer school at iLEAD Online, guess what? You're going to add a school and then you're going to say you went to iLEAD Online that summer. I know it's confusing. This is why Laura has meeting appointments so she can help you walk through all of this. And like she said earlier, if you're not sure, you have an appointment with me, Jenna, Beth, we can help you with this as well. So we're starting here. If you have been with us since the 9th grade, you started with iLEAD High School in August of 2022. Your end date will be June 2026. If you're an 11th grader graduating early, your adjusted dates will be August 2023, still graduating in 26. So this is kind of how it looks. These are your academic years that you went to school. Did you take core summer school after that? Maybe, right? So we're going to click yes or no. But again, we don't have summer school at iLEAD Exploration. So that's where you'll be adding another school. All right, perfect. So our school's grading system, we go by A, B, C, D, F. What is our terms? We have semester terms. We will do 2 grades per year. Are you planning on graduating from us? Well, I hope so. So put yes. Okay, here we're going to get a high school diploma. And your anticipated date is June 2026. Perfect. So this part is pretty easy and straightforward. The years you went to school, what grade you were in, and which grade. So here's the button. Do I need to add another high school? Did I go to summer school? Did I do 9th grade at my brick and mortar down the street? Did I, do something somewhere else? that's where you would add that other high school in. But for now, we're going to go with I'm finished with my high school so you can see what it looks like. Here we go. Enter courses and grades. This is where it gets a little bit painful, not going to lie, right? This is where we're doing plug and chug. So hopefully you've either received a copy of your transcript from either Laura or one of us counselors, so you can have it right there next to you for easy access to get this part done. All right, so first we're going to put in our 9th grade courses and grades. But wait a minute, Mrs. Beccarata. I thought the UCs didn't look at my GPA for 9th grade. Oh, you're right, they don't. But they do want to see what you took and the grades you received in those classes. Plus, we want to make sure that you've done A through G. Okay, so here in English 9, so in 9th grade, rather, what English class did you take? Most of you, it's going to be English 9, right? There could be some odd, very odd, right, that you've taken something other than English 9. Again, I would go with what's on your transcript because that's really what's going to be the deciding factor. It needs to match. So perfect. So here we're going to do 9th grade English, math, science, any of the classes that you may have taken during the 9th grade. Again, they will be on your transcript. But wait, I don't see, I have PE on my transcript. I don't see that on here. That's right, because the UCs, they're not that interested in your PE class that you took in 9th grade. So it's not going to be here. So you can see all of the things that are A to G approved, that we have approved with the UC, all the classes. If your class is not listed here and you are certain that it's A to G, click on that button and then you're going to have to manually type it in. This is very rare, just so you know, very rare that it's not on here. We update our UC list, I believe twice a year, if not at least once a year, but I think Mrs. Maddox does it a couple times a year. So perfect. All right, so you can see you're going to be putting in grades. Hopefully you've been watching.
I'm going to throw this one in just to explain.
Yeah,
Once
please.
in a while, you get a 1-semester class. If you have a 1-semester class, you're going to put the grade for the semester and you're going to put no grade. Just
Correct.
thought I'd jump in and mention that.
Yeah,
Since
no, good mention. Okay, perfect. Laura, is there a way we can skip down to 12th grade?
Yep, I will do that now.
Perfect. So I would like you guys to see what the 12th grade entering grades and classes look like. Again, you should get this from your transcript. Make sure your written agreements all done and all up to date, because that's really what's going to help you. So say you're taking, I guess we're taking AP World History in 12th grade. Perfect. So this is what the grades look like. Grade 1 is going to be your fall semester, so the semester we're in now. And it's IP, stands for in progress. You're currently taking that class, you don't have a grade yet. And then grade 2 is PL for planned, because you're planning on taking that next semester. American government, perfect. If you're taking government this semester, it's IP, but then grade 2 will be no, because it's a 1-semester class. Awesome. So hopefully you kind of get the idea of how to enter your classes into the UC application. And again, you're only listing classes right now that are under that school, iLEAD Exploration Hybrid. If you've taken high school classes at a different high school, you'll need to add a school. Perfect. Okay, but wait, I went to college. I took some classes at COC while I was in high school. So here, look, we got a place for that too. So you're going to add your college classes. Where did you attend? Long Beach City, because that's where Mrs. Kazan would go if she were to go to community college near her. Perfect. So again, gonna ask you, what years did you attend? Long Beach City College. Same type of questions. the college's term system. Most of our community college works on semesters. Probably very rarely do they have the quarter system. So perfect. So you can see how this works. Grading system. Most community colleges that we've run across with our learners do the A, B, C, D, F grading system. Perfect. Okay. And so that's how that works. We finished adding community college. Now we get to go in, enter the classes and the grades, similarly like you did for high school. You can see that it's a lot longer list of the classes that are transferable from Long Beach City College to a UC school. Perfect. Oh, there you go. So that's how that works. Perfect. And we are always going to save and continue. We definitely always be wanting to save so we don't lose our work that we've already done. Additional information. This is where you'll put something down that makes wasn't able to fit in anywhere. So if you took a class, you're not sure, we've got to give additional comments on something, this is where you can do that. Need to explain something. Yeah. Academic. Yep. Perfect. Okay. So once you're all done, it'll send you to a review page and you can look at everything that you've typed in and make sure it's all correct. Awesome. Okay, so moving to, oh, you want to talk about 7th and 8th grade? Some of you may have taken a foreign language or a math class while in middle school. This is where you can put that. We do get that, usually not math too, but okay. That's a really advanced learner taking math too.
It happens. It
It
happens.
does. It does, absolutely.
Want to point out here that you notice that it doesn't have a match like it does with the 9th through 12th, and that is because they're not matching it to a specific A through G course. You're just going to put the courses that you took. There's no place to put a grade because they don't count the grades, but they do count math and language as A through G. So you can actually notice no grade here as well. So this is just for them to know that the A through G has been covered in math and language, and there's no other classes. There's no other type of class that you can put in 7th and 8th grade. It is math and it is language because they are sequential. Sorry, you can't put your science. Sorry, you can't put your history, such as life.
No, well, we really don't, we try to deter them from taking those in middle school anyway. Perfect. Okay. So, all right. We're ready to move on to test scores. Test scores. So, as hopefully most of you know, the UC and CSU systems a few years ago dropped requirement for the ACT or the SAT for admissions purposes. So you do not need to take any of those standardized tests and submit them with your college applications. You can, however, highlight some AP exams that you may have taken. So you can let them know which one you took and when. Perfect. Somebody took something last year. Chemistry. Oof, it's a tough one. What was your score? 5. Nice. Nicely done, Laura. She's a chemist. All right. You'll see also that there's other exams on here, IB exams. If you transferred to us from a high school that offers IB exams, we don't offer them here, but if you did, you could also report those very similarly that Laura just did the AP exam. So perfect. All right, activities and awards. Here's all the fun stuff you can say about yourself. I believe you can do up to 20 different activities and awards. So we're going to select a category. Award of honor. Ooh, let's see. What did you get, Laura? What was your award of honor? What was the name? It was an international. She did something good. Best. human. Perfect. Best human in the universe award that Laura Watt. So it's not academic. She earned that in the 11th grade. And then she's going to talk about how she came to earn that high prestigious honor of the best human in the universe. Okay, perfect. So other things you could put in there, right? Your extracurricular activities, you spend, you're an athlete, you spend 20 hours a week for the last 4 years training for something, right? Whatever your sport is. So, the schools, they're asking all of these things because they really want to know what occupies your time, right? Other than you taking these courses that you've listed under your coursework, what are you doing in the rest of your daily activities? So it's kind of fun that you get to do all of that. Perfect. Okay.
I just want to mention I'm being a little silly in
Yeah,
the
no, I'm just
comments.
trying to see what you wrote. It's just
Yeah,
really tiny on my screen.
gliding in the air.
Bear with me.
This is really serious. And so I'm just quickly typing stuff in here, but they look at this, it matters. So you really want to take the time to sit down and fill this out well. These are characters, not words. Like characters, that's not a lot.
No.
They're not words. And so this is something that I can help you with. I can work with you on this, and I have templates and all kinds of things. There are some strategies to get the most information that you can into these itty bitty boxes. But don't be silly like me. Take this very seriously because this,
Well, but if gliding is your thing, then write about it.
well, yeah, but you want to say more than you just glided in the air. You want to talk about the number of flights you took. You want to talk about any scholarships you might have gotten. You want to talk about the different types of lessons you did. Maybe you supervise somebody else. Maybe you have 800 gazillion hours, whatever it takes. This is where you're really going to put some detail, and the detail is important. So sorry, I'll go back to my.
No, that's okay. Okay, so this is where you're going to say add again up to 20 different activities and awards that you may have received while in high school. Let's keep that in mind, while in high school. Um, as much as we love to hear about your sixth grade talent show, the UCs are not that interested. Okay, scholarships and support programs. So this one, you'll see we can't do. Why? Because we haven't chose what school yet. So once you have chosen what school you're interested in, then the list will populate of different scholarships and programs that that specific campus can offer you. As a fun, weird thing, right? When one of my children was applying to UCs, and I don't know if this is still the case because I haven't gone through to see. She applied to UC Santa Barbara. She clicked on this, and one of the questions for a scholarship was, are you fluent in Mandarin? It was very bizarre, but she luckily was, so she put yes. But it's just very interesting the types of questions that they'll ask you in this area. Perfect. And then your personal insight questions, those are your PIQs. We call them for short, your PIQs. These are little mini questions. They're not essays. You're using your own voice. You're answering I this, I that. It's first person. So there's 8 options. You have to choose 4, and it can be any 4 that you want to answer. There is no right or wrong of which 4 should I do. It's which 4 do you want to do. And again, Laura is happy to work with you on this 503, what is it? 350 word maximum. So we're not writing beautifully worded essays, that we're hoping to win a poetry prize for. We are literally answering the question. So perfect. So that's pretty much it. If you have additional comments, something that didn't make sense to write somewhere else, now here is your spot to say what you needed to say, that there was no other place to put it. Then you're going to review your applications and then submit them, either paying the $80 or using the fee waiver if you qualified. So pretty, Pretty straightforward. Again, if you need help with the activities, awards, personal insight, please make an appointment with Laura. She's happy to work with you at that. If you need your transcript, you can ask your counselor or Laura, we can print that for you. So you have that handy when you're doing your academic stuff. So yes, $80 per school is the fee this year for the UC app. Perfect.
Okay, I noticed there's a lot of questions in the chat and I don't pay attention
Answer
to
them
them.
now or?
Well, let's do the Q&A after.
Okay.
It's just that I ignore the questions because otherwise I forget what I'm doing. So we're going to keep writing the questions in the chat. Like we're not ignoring you, we promise. But we are going to do a Q&A without the whatchamacallit on, without the recording on, so that we can all talk freely. But anything else you wanted to, yeah, sad face for the $80. Anything else you wanted to add before we jump to the Common App?
I think that's it. Thank you.
Let's see if my Common App is still
Or
ready.
it's going to walk us through the Common App.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to turn off the comment box again. So I am not ignoring you, I promise, but I do want to not be distracted while we deal with the Common App. Now, a lot of you opened up the Common App last year with me. And if you open it up today, you'll say, oh, this looks different. And so they changed it. They made it more bubbly and cutesy. I don't know. But if I look like I'm a little confused, it's because they moved something on me. But what I have found is that everything is exactly the same. The questions are the same. It's just the location. So if you have played with this before, don't be surprised. It does look different, but it actually isn't different. So the Common App is pretty straightforward. You have a place for your colleges. You have a place for your common information. The reason it's called the Common App is because there is information that is common to all schools. Back in the olden days, when dinosaurs roamed the earth and we used to use typewriters, you would have to create a separate application for every single college in the United States that you wanted to apply to. So basically once the internet came around and changed everything, they created this application that shared that repetitive and, repetitive data. So let's take a look at what the common aspect of the common application is. You've got personal information that would include your basics like your address, your demographics, your language, things that don't change between colleges. You have family information, and most of this is very basic. I'm not going to go over it. You have education, testing, activities, and writing. Now, these are not very basic. So I'm going to take a moment to go ahead and touch on education because we do have some confusion with where people go to high school. And this is like what Heather, Mrs. Beccarota was saying in the UC app. You go to iLEAD Exploration Hybrid, not iLEAD Online. So if I put in iLEAD, I'm going to find some different iLEADs here. We are iLEAD Exploration Hybrid. And this year, if you accidentally click the wrong one, you're not going to be able to do certain things within this application. It's going to lock it. iLEAD Online is using a different system than iLEAD Exploration. So if something isn't working, if you're unable to invite your counselor, which I'm going to show you in a moment, you have clicked the wrong school. I am going to click the correct school, iLEAD Exploration Hybrid. And this address that we're using here is our learning studio. That is sort of how the College Board decided to list us. So now we have our current or most recent secondary high school. Like the UC application, you will be listing other high schools if you attended any prior. So you might have more than one high school. Once again, we're going to decide that you started, did we decide 2021? I think it is 21, 22. I don't remember. We're going to make that August.
22.
22.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we'll just change that. Luckily, it's like just a clicky thing. No, apparently it's not a clicky thing. 2022, August. Now it's a clicky thing. Okay, you don't live here, although it might feel like it. We don't live on a campus. Your house is your campus, but you're going to graduate.
Answered that. Do you live on
Oh,
campus?
do I live on campus? I don't live on campus.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
we're not a boarding school.
it's Friday. What can I do? I'm going to graduate in 2026. Oh my gosh. Don't trust me. Don't trust me. 2026 in June. Heather, do you know our graduation date? I don't remember. Is it the 6th this year?
June 4th.
June 4th. Okay. This is interesting. We have a lot of early grads. Sometimes we have folks that decide to do a super senior year and a 5-year grad. So if you have any kind of a change in your progression, like you're going to graduate early, they want to know why. So just be prepared. Notice there was no box, and then there was a box. The Common App loves to give you surprise boxes. So just be really aware that certain things may open and ask for responses as you go. I'm not going to graduate early. So I'm going to hit continue, and notice I can add another school here. It's gonna, this was actually my son's school when I was showing someone how to do it. He went to Millikan High School and had graduated in, oh, that was a long time ago, 2016. The rest of this is pretty straightforward. You're going to list your colleges. One of the dilemmas is they only have room for 3 colleges and universities, and some of you have attended 5. That's okay. If you don't have a space for all of the colleges, you'll use the other information section, and you will be sending the college information through your iLEAD transcript and through your college transcript. So they're going to get the information even if you can't put that information bit by bit on here. Okay, so this is where it gets kind of weird. And I actually have, which I will put in the chat later, a application guide that will answer the questions after this meeting's going to be done, and you're going to forget everything we said. That's okay. I have the Critical College Guide, which it looks like I did not have up on my screen, but I will get that to you, and it will remind you of what I'm about to tell you. Our graduating class size. I don't understand how the Common App thinks that you're going to know that, and that everybody at every school is going to know that. But I'm going to tell you, we are estimating it at around 180. That's where we were in the beginning. Is that still true, Heather? We about 180? This doesn't have to be exact, because your counselors are also filling something out on the back end that you can't see with similar information. Now, we are a school that does not rank. And so you need to put none in this section. GPA scale reporting. This is confusing because some of you have above a 4.0, and that is because your grade is weighted. So the GPA scale is on a scale of 1 to 4, but you might actually have a 4.2, and that's okay. That is a weighted score. A weighted score comes when you have honors, community college, AP, or at some schools, IB courses. It gives you an extra point. If you haven't taken any of those courses, that's fine as well. You might have a 3 point, not a 6.3, a 3.6. And so you want to put your weighted grade if you have one. And if you don't have a weighted grade, you can use unweighted. And all of this information is being sent on the back end by your counselors. So if you kind of mess this up, there is no harm. This is a no harm situation, but it does kind of get people confused. So that's one of the reasons I go over it. You also need to put your current courses. So I'm going to report 4 courses. I'm not really, but we are on a semester system. And so this allows the schools to know what you're currently taking and also what you plan to take, so that they're going to get a transcript. And I think, Heather, do we put the planned courses on the transcript when you send it? I know there's a button to make that decision.
Yes.
Okay. But even so, they want you to write those in. So for example, I might be taking a calculus class. I'm going to name it calculus. And here's some things that get kind of confusing. If you are taking a general A through G class at that level, that's a college prep class. Some people put regular, it's actually college prep. So give yourself credit where credit is due. If you are taking it through the community college, that's a dual enrollment. Yeah, I know we call it concurrent enrollment, but this is the wording that they give you. You can also choose an honors. So there's a lot of options. And the reason they have so many options is every school seems to have different terminology. My son's school had the word accelerated. Sometimes we have an advanced placement. So if it's a regular class, call it a college prep. Otherwise, give it the label that it's due, dual enrollment, AP, honors, whatever works. And you'll see we have course 2. We have course 2 schedule. We're gonna, oh, this is an interesting one. So if you're taking it all year, put full year. So that, let's say you're doing an AP Calc, maybe it's AP Calc AB, that's a full year course. But let's say you're taking calculus as a dual enrollment, and maybe you're taking it first semester, or maybe you have it planned for second semester. So you go ahead and just indicate when you're going to take those courses. Commonly, this would happen with economics and government as well, where you'll be taking one first semester and then you'll be taking the second semester. So you could put your courses in here, and I'm not going to bother with continue. Honors, this is a weird one because it says academic achievement, and there's no other place to put honors that are not academic. So one of the things that I like to do is if you have room, you know what? I think it's perfectly fine to put your figure skating first place. I don't know, Heather, do you have, what do you think? Do you ever go non-academic in the academic section just because they don't give you room?
Yep,
Yeah, so
why not?
yeah, I mean, if it's giving you a box, use the box if there's something to put in the box. So if you have a National Honor Society, that can go in here if you have room for it. If you are a robotics champion, that goes in here. So whatever honor that you would like to put, there's only 5 spaces, so choose wisely. The rest, not an issue. Testing, test taken. Now, this is where you get to make the choice of whether you're going to report your test. So at most schools that are in the Common Application, the ACT and SAT may be an optional test. So if you would like to report it, you would say yes, and you would indicate what test. I took the SAT, and you would go ahead and hit continue. Now, listen to this, it's kind of confusing. If you would like to report your SAT to some schools and not to others, you should add it and remove it as you hit submit to each school. So let's say I am required to give my SAT score to Harvard. They have added that requirement. I'm going to put yes, and I'm going to put my scores in when I hit that next on the bottom. But let's say I don't want to send it to a random other school. Then I'm going to come back after I've submitted, and I'm going to say no before I submit that one. And if this is confusing you, just come make an appointment with me. We will go through this together and decide where it's best to send that test, where it's best to not. And if you don't have a test, that's easy. You're just going to hit no. So I know that was a little complicated, but there is a bit of strategy with if you decide to send that test or not send that test. And I'm happy to work through the question of what to do with you. Just make an appointment. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say I have a SAT, and I'm going to continue, and it's going to allow me to enter the scores. And so if I've taken it more than once, I can put the highest reading and writing and the highest reading and writing date and the highest math score and that math score date. You don't have to put the lower scores. That is called super scoring. So what's really nice is if you take it one time and you get a great English and you have a math and you do it the opposite way the next time, you're only going to tell them the good one and they're not going to see the others. Okay, so I'm going to go down to the activity section. There are 10 spaces and they give you very little room. You have a drop down for the different types, and then you have 50 characters, 100 characters. That's not words, folks. That's characters, 150 characters. So I have some templates for this to try to help you figure out how to best squish everything into 150, and then utilizing that 100 and that 50 character to get more information out there. So feel free to make an appointment if you want to go over, if you're not feeling confident with how you're listing it, or there's just a lot of stuff you need to get in there. You're allowed 10 activities. You can move them around. You want to put the ones that are most important to you near the top, the ones that are less important near the bottom. These are high school level only, and if you plan to continue it, or if you are filling this out as a student with a gap year, you got a postgraduate option. And also, when did you do it? Did you do it during summer break? Did you do it during the year? Did you do it all the time? How many hours a week? You know, sometimes you do something that's just 2 weeks long, and that's okay. Like if you did a major event and it was 2 weeks long and you spend 30 hours a week doing that major event, you list it that way. And they get that. They understand that not everything is all the time and is 50 weeks a year. So answer it honestly. And there's a lot of different, here's this is a much better one where we've got some good verbs in there. So responsibilities and circumstances. This is new. So for those of you who have ever worked with a student who has filled out an application, you'll find that this is a new section and is not used by all colleges, but it is being used by more and more colleges. They want to know other things that are going on that you notice this under activities. And so there are situations where you have pretty heavy duty responsibilities and circumstances that might keep you out of activities or that might affect kind of how you live and how you are able to do things at the high school level. So you can see that we've got some pretty hefty things that a lot of our students are involved in. Translating for family members, managing the household, providing transportation, taking care of sick grandparents, elderly members, taking care of younger family members. And so these matter. They matter. And so if this matches you, it is okay to let the colleges know so they understand your background in your context. This is not if you are just like working 1 or 2 hours and this is for if there's something you really need them to know. If you are working or you're doing unpaid work in a family business and that's taking a lot of your time, that's important for them to know. Also, we have extenuating circumstances. We do have unhoused students or students with unstable living conditions. We do have students who have unusable internet. Hopefully you have told us so we can help you with that. We have students that are not living with their two parents or guardians. And so it matters. It matters to the schools. And so please be honest and don't worry about disclosing that information. Okay, writing. This is the personal essay, the dreaded personal essay. I love the personal essay. Now, this is an essay that's going to go to all schools. As you start adding schools, you'll find that most of them are going to show up on this required list. There might be a few. I think Arizona and a few others may not require it, but most will require it. There are, I think this is 7 questions, but most students that work with me, they don't actually start with a question. Most students will start with an essay, and then they'll put that essay into the question. And you'll find that almost all essays do fit somewhere easily. And if they don't, this is share an essay on a topic of your choice. So it has a place. Now, I have seen this used kind of where someone has put in a response to literature from their AP class. It's not really what this means. It means if it doesn't fit into any of these kind of personal, introspective topics, it goes here. But I wouldn't say something that you did for class unless it is something that has some introspection and tells the reader something about your identity, background, experiences that you've had. So this is a 650-word essay, max. Doesn't mean you have to fill it all the way up, but you do have 650 words. So there is an additional information section. This is used if you have situations that need to be explained. You might have a situation that happened in your household that caused a drop in grades. You can absolutely tell people about it here. In fact, we get a lot of learners here at iLEAD who have come here for a reason, one reason or another, personal reasons. And a lot of times this additional information is explaining those circumstances where something went wrong and affected your grades. This is a good place to put it. And so if there is something you need to share, use it for this. Don't use it otherwise. This is something that doesn't have a place elsewhere in the application. It is not just something to fill up space, but it is there for your use. You only have 300 words with this. It used to be 650. This year they changed it to 300, which kind of tells me something. Maybe it was being overused a bit, but do use it if you feel it is appropriate. This courses and grades right here. This is a weird one. Of course, they want your courses and grades. But most schools are not making you do that miserable thing that we just saw with the UC application where you had to put everything in by hand, but there are a few that do. One of them is USC. So once you put one of those colleges in your application, that courses and grades might suddenly say 1 or 2 colleges. I think another one is Chapman, which is really annoying. So you might find that you are hand entering your grades, even though your counselor will be sending a transcript. It just does some automatic calculations in the back to make life easier for the college, because it's always about making life easier for the college. Now, In the chat box, will somebody please put a college, first come, first serve, put a college in the chat box, and let's see who gets there first. Okay, ooh, interesting. College of the Atlantic and Occidental. Okay, we got two good ones in here. I was waiting to see if someone would put a UC or a CSU in there because I was waiting to tell you there's no, Fullerton College, for example, that wouldn't be in here. A UC, a CSU, a community college, those have their own applications. This is about 1,000 schools, but it's not all of them. So the first one was College of the Atlantic. And there it is. Now, if I wanted to just get information, I can click, but I'm going to add it to my list. Now I'm going to go ahead and do Occidental, and we'll have two. Occidental College, I'm going to add it to my list. So now I have two colleges. And if I go to my colleges, I will find that they're here. In fact, right here, they've started now. What's really nice about this dashboard right here, you can get there from here, you can get there from the overview, is once you start the application and you tell them when you want to, what your deadline's going to be, it'll start actually, it'll put that information up there and actually tell you as you're getting close. It kind of turns red and lets you know you're running out of time. I don't know if that's good or bad, but you'll see that this is a place where it's also organizing your deadlines. Shameless plug, our next info session, which I think is on October 3rd, whatever that Friday is about deadlines. It is about the different types of deadlines, early action, early admission, just to give you an idea of what that session is going to be about. There is not one deadline. This particular college has 3, and this particular college has 4 different deadlines. And so if you would like to know more, actually they've got 6 different deadlines. If you'd like to know more about deadlines, shameless plug, come join us on the first Friday of next month. Anyway, let me go back to where I was. Sorry, I digressed. So we've got these 2 colleges and you're allowed up to 20. We're not going to put 20. And as I open them up, I want you to notice that each one has a different set of requirements. So this one has a writing section. Let's see what Occidental has. Occidental has, optional short answer. Another writing section. Writing may also be hidden. Remember how when I clicked, a box opened? There are situations where you are filling out your application and you click and yet another box opens. So you need to really make sure you are not doing this at the last minute because you have no idea how many random boxes are going to open as you start filling it out. But we know there are short answers here. We know there is writing here. Let's take a peek at what this writing looks like. Oh, this is an easy one. Have you ever been adjudicated guilty or convicted of a misdemeanor or felony? If I say yes, I'm going to have to give answers. If I say no, I'm done. Let's take a look and compare it to Oxy. Optional short answer. I think this is one of the, they used to have all kinds of little questions, but they don't now. Oh, this is the famous YS. So this is a YS essay. You're going to see them all over the place. I got some templates if you want some help brainstorming how to do a YS essay, but they want to know, why is Occidental the right place for you? Easy peasy in this case. Okay, now each college is going to have your general information, start term. I might be starting in fall. I would like to apply binding early decision. Don't know what that is. Shameless plug for our next session. But I'm not going to do it because it's going to give me a hard time. Lots of different things here to answer. Keeps going. I got academic information. It's going to look different for each college. We're in the college section, not in the common section. So each one of these has to be filled out specifically for each individual school. So what do I want to study at Oxy? Might be different than what I want to study at College of the Atlantic. In fact, it has to be. College of the Atlantic only has one major. Activities. Yes, there's an activity section. I showed it to you. They want another activity situation. They want to know what you might be doing. Look, this one has a resume. You don't see that on all of them, but if you would like to upload a resume because that section on activities was not good enough, you get to do it for Oxy. Maybe you get to do it for others. We don't know. Contact information, family information. Now, the fun one. Recommenders and FERPA. This goes with my friend Heather Fekarota's pet peeve, which I will allow her to talk about in just a second. I'm going to show you where her pet peeve lives. And then I am going to let her tell you about her pet peeve. FERPA. stands for the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Let me explain what that is. When you as a student, when you hit 18 and above, and parents and the student, for students who are under 18, have the right to your educational data and documents. You can see anything that the school has. It is your right. That is part of this Privacy Act. Other people can't. That's also part of this Privacy Act. However, when you write a letter of recommendation, not you, but the person writing it for you, maybe Mrs. Vecchiarota is writing it, maybe your teacher is writing it, the colleges are highly recommending that you waive the ability to view it. You won't be able to view it before you are accepted to a school anyway. It's not like you can review it now. But many letter writers feel very uncomfortable knowing that their letter is going to be read, not because they're going to say something bad, just because it's a kind of weird over the shoulder feeling. But more importantly, the colleges want to know that your letter writer wrote knowing that they were free to say what they want to say. If you don't waive this, the college may think, is this letter telling me the truth? If you waive the ability to view it, the college knows that the letter writer wrote, I feel like I'm doing a tongue twister, the letter writer wrote honestly. And you will never be able to see those letters. And that's okay. You need to trust your recommenders. So this section will not allow you in until you complete the release authorization. You get to choose whether you want to waive your right to see the letters or whether you want to see the letters. You have a choice. I recommend that you waive the right to see them so that your letter writers are comfortable and the colleges believe them. I'm going to say I understand it. I want you to actually sit down and read this when it's time for you to go through this part of the application. I'm going to hit continue. This says that basically, even though we're looking at Occidental College right now, it's for all schools. And also it gives the colleges permission to talk to us if they need more information. So everything here is about permission for us to interact, permission for letter writers to be free to write what they want to write, and permission to waive the ability to control that. So I'm going to waive my right to review the
I would like to
recommendations.
add something, Laura,
Absolutely, please.
on that communicating directly with a school. It's very rare that a school would actually contact me or your counselor or whatever for additional information, but it has happened. It happened a few years ago. I had a learner applying somewhere and the admissions office did call me for some verbal clarifications of some things that were on their application. So it's rare, but it does happen.
Perfect. So yeah, these are legitimate things. And so absolutely waive. I mean, we can't tell you that you have to. I highly recommend that you waive. I understand that it applies to everything. I'm going to put my name in here. I'm going to put the date. And I'm going to say save and close. Now watch, something magic is about to happen. Boom, the page opens. Now, even though I'm in Occidental, this page is now opened in College of the Atlantic. This is open for the entire application. Now I'm going to turn it over to Heather for a moment to talk about the counselor, pet peeve, and all the things that go with it.
Okay, so here is where you're going to invite your counselor. Not all of these colleges require a counselor recommendation, but those that do, it's going to be me if I'm your counselor, Mrs. Maddox if she's your counselor, or Mrs. Clement if she's your counselor. So you're going to be putting in our emails and names in this section. Now, if you have selected November 1st as your date that you will be submitting your application to this school, please do not ask us on October 31st to write your letter of recommendation because it's not going to be very well received question, nor is it going to be a very good letter, right? We like to take our time. We like to talk to you. right? So we all have um, a tab on our Calendly that says letter of recommendation meeting. So we want to discuss with you some things that hopefully you have filled out in your score assignment. That's also there for your letter of recommendation. Maybe get some clarification on some things. Now, granted, if you've been with us since ninth grade, we probably know you pretty well. But you know what? I always like to meet with you anyway, even if we've conversed every week for the last 4 years, we're going to converse one more time, just because I want to make sure of some things. So that's my pet peeve, is not asking in a timely manner. We ask at least 2 weeks before the due date. Earlier is even preferred. So there's my 2 cents. Thank
Did you
you.
see that? Did you see the question that just popped up in the chat about, wait, students really asked before the deadline? But she said yes.
So, and I'll be honest, so like Laura said, she did the FERPA for Occidental, but it also applies to College of the Atlantic. Same with this counselor, right? You're only going to put us in there once. It's going to show us, we get the list, every school. As soon as you add a school, we see it on our Common App. Oh, so-and-so's added another third school. What is the due date for that one? So the counselors are always aware of what's happening in your application. So there is also a spot on there, right, for a school when it says we need a letter of recommendation from your counselor. There's a spot for us to put, no, I will not be submitting a letter on this learner's behalf. In my career, I have only had to do that once. It was not with iLEAD, and it was because the student asked me literally the day before, and I just told him, look, I don't have time to do this. And he said, that's fine, click no. I mean, we really do our best, but we please, please, please give us a 2-week lead, because we do have other tasks other than writing these letters. And we love to write beautiful letters on your behalf because you are all such wonderful people. And honestly, this, for me as a counselor, this is my most exciting time, is preparing you for your next chapter. And I want to write the best letter that I can. And then in the springtime, I'm going to celebrate with you with all your admissions decisions. So please, 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 at least 2 weeks. Thanks.
And the same is true with your teachers. Notice there's an invite teacher and there is an invite other. The teacher is going to be a core subject teacher. English, math, science, social studies, world language, and computer science is now a core in there too. I would have just put it with math, but you know. Sometimes maybe you have a business instructor at the community college or somebody that is still teaching at a core level. But here you're going to invite them in and they're going to have a slightly different letter than someone who is not a core teacher. You also have the ability to invite a coach or an employer. I don't know about the family member, but you know, it's on here. There's actually a school that asks for a peer recommendation. I think that's kind of cool, actually. The arts teacher, this is, people have, you know, really your arts teacher should be a teacher, but the Common App separates them out. If you are applying to an art school, that might be okay to go ahead and put your art teacher up here, but typically the arts teacher is not who they're looking for. They're looking for an academic teacher. They're also typically not looking for an EF, unless your EF happens to also be one of these teachers. If you have no other options, that's okay. But typically they want a core teacher. Community college, that counts as well. In fact, if you can get a professor's recommendation, more power to you, actually, because that would be a pretty good recommendation to have. So we have one more area in this page, and it is the advisor. That is me. This gives me the ability to help you from the back end. I can make sure that things are moving smoothly. I can see what's going on. I can see the colleges you're applying to. I can't do anything with it, though. I can't turn in documents like Mrs. Specarota can. I can only view. Notice this says enable preview. This allows me to actually read what you've written, not just see that you've turned things in. So if you are getting help from me, please make sure that I am in there as your advisor, that you have enabled preview. You can invite other people if you really want to. But these are the most important aspects of the Common Application. I wanted to make sure that you saw these recommenders in FERPA, which is something that a lot of people don't realize till the last minute, and then they have no idea what they're doing. I want you to notice that your counselor has a lot of work ahead of her. And so school report, counselor recommendation, look at all these reports that are being sent in the background. You need, if you haven't done it yet, you need to get your counselor into this application ASAP if it is a college on this list. Once again, going back to that little magnifying glass, you'll find that there are colleges not on the list. We're not going to find it. We're not going to find it. So there are some that are not. You need to check to see which ones are on the list. We found it. So you need to get that list up there so you can see where your applications are. And that's our run through. Heather, did I miss any specific things in this application that you would recommend I touch upon?
I don't think so. Oh, maybe the fee waiver section.
Oh, you're
Can
right.
you-
You're right.
Can you
Yeah.
get to that?
Let me go to the common application, and it's going to be in the personal information. You know, since you're the one that does the fee waivers, you want to talk about that real quick?
Yes. So here is the criteria listed right here to see if you're eligible for a fee waiver. So if you think you meet one of these criteria, you would click yes. Now that's going to send a notification to your counselor that you have applied for a fee waiver. Now that's where we have to come in and we have to sometimes do a little bit more digging. And this really, in our student information systems, a lot of times we can tell right away, because one of the things that your parents fill out every year is the home data collection, I think is what it's called. And that's what kind of triggers whether you are applicable for a fee waiver. Now, sometimes those things, I'll be honest, haven't been updated in the past, so I've got to work behind the scenes. Sometimes it takes a few emails back and forth to several people to see if you do qualify, but it's usually not an issue. And then, so I have to also agree that you qualify. So not only are you attesting that you qualify, your counselor also has to attest that you qualify.
My counselor will be asked to verify. We give that form at the beginning of every year. It's kind of a home income form, and a lot of people blow it off, but this is one of the many ways that we use that form to find out if you are eligible for things like fee waivers. We also have fee waivers or fee reductions for things like AP testing, PSAT testing. This allows us to provide these things to you. So if you are a parent in this particular meeting, that form is important for us. So just doing a plug for the form. Okay, so we have looked at the Common App. We have looked at the UC app. There are other apps which we don't have time to look at because there are just so many apps. Heather, I'll turn this over to you. We'll finish out. We promise we're going to let you go home soon.
Yes.
Carry on.
Okay. So we kind of talked about this as we were going through each application. You are going to need your transcript. If you want any of those templates that Laura was talking about, you can email her for those. iLEAD grade and rank information. Again, we don't rank, but we can give you your GPA. It will be on that transcript, so you'll see it. But if you have any other questions about anything, ask Laura, ask your counselor. I did put in the chat that document that Laura was talking about, the critical college application guide. I put that in the chat while she was talking, so hopefully you have been able to access that. That's kind of going to be your go-to cheat sheet with all things application. But please, if you have any questions, please, please, please make an appointment with Laura. If she's not available, make an appointment with your counselor. We can help you as well. All right, here we go. Get your counselor letter of recommendations done. So in SCORE, I think we've still called it the letter of recommendation survey, but it's under assignments. So when you log into SCORE, there should be an assignments tab. If you click on that, you'll see the survey as an assignment for you to do. Make an appointment with your counselor once you have done that survey. And I'll be honest, your teacher of letter of recommendation, please remember to actually ask these people. The last thing anybody wants is to just get an email from Common App, so-and-so's added you to write a letter for them. Great, would have been nice if they could ask me personally. So please at least remember to ask either at least minimum via email if someone is willing to write a letter of recommendation for you, especially in our type of school where you may not see your 10th grade English teacher very often anymore. But that's who you want to ask. So make sure that they know it's coming before they get the surprise email from Common App.
And I'll just say, please add your schools to SCORE. Please, 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 please add your schools to SCORE and tell us the results. This is data that we use going forward. This is data that other students, they don't have access to your name, but they do have access to like different results. And so they can get an idea what their future might look like. And also, I just want to know. And so if you tell me in SCORE, there's a place to put the results, there's a place to put where you've applied. And actually, when you have hit that submit button and you use SCORE to say applied, your counselor gets an immediate email so they know to be on the lookout so that they can get any documentation in. So please use SCORE. I beg you, please. I say this constantly. I'll say it one last time. Please use SCORE. Okay, we have stuff coming up, Heather.
Yes, we do. So we have scheduled our first college tour. It's going to be on October 8th. We are going to Concordia University in the city of Irvine. We would love to have you there. You can register on the hub. It should be fun. I'm assuming that Mrs. Clement is going since she's the one that set it up. I am also planning on being there. Laura, how about you? Are you coming or no? This
It's
one too far?
I'm doing the PSAT and the SAT, and I'm taking.
Oh, yes. So that's right. So we'll be there touring all of you with the tour guides at Concordia. We are also setting up CSUN this year and Cal Lutheran and hopefully some others in the future. But right now, October 8th, it's a Wednesday, Concordia. Please, please, please join us.
And I'll get the link and I'll drop it in the link to the hub when I can't get it now because I'm sharing my screen, but I'll get that for you before we leave during our Q&A. Okay. These are links, can't really access them from the screen, but you can also just Google UC app, Common App, CSU app, Common Black app. And here are future presentations, gaze upon them. We have deadlines, and we also have a lot of information, 4 different sessions just on financial aid, dividing it up into individual topics.
And then
So,
it looks like we're missing Mrs. Maddox. So her
oh,
Bethany.Maddox at iLEADexploration.org. Your
how could
last
we
name
forget?
is A through G. I don't know. Your last name is A through G, Bethany Maddox. Bethany.Maddox at iLEADexploration.org.
We'll add her for next. Okay. And if you are at home, I'm sorry you couldn't be with us, but come join us next time. And for everyone else, I'm going to stop the recording and then we're going to have our Q&A.